Hello, this is Anjay from ACT, Hypnotherapy, Action Changes Things. I thought I'd come on here just to share a little bit about hypnosis. What is it, and how can it be used as a powerful tool to make the changes that you want in your life? Firstly, a little bit about hypnosis, just to dispel any rumors. People tend to think about the stage hypnosis where they get you all clucking like a chicken and doing all sorts of crazy things. But the key in hypnotherapy is the fact that it's a therapy. We won't be doing anything like that. We'll be helping you move towards what you want, let go of any unhelpful habits and stuff like that. So I just want to share with you a little bit about how we do that and why it's such a powerful tool. Well, firstly, hypnosis is very simply single point of focus. So you listening to my voice attentively is, in essence, creating that single point of focus. You're being hypnotized by my words. And what I mean by single point of focus is as you're listening to my words, you're not actually thinking of anything else. So your focus is channeled in to those words. And that's the same when we read the book. We open that book, we put our conscious mind to one side, and we allow the words in the book to hypnotize us, to create feelings, images, thoughts, emotions, and sensations. So that book, in essence, is hypnotizing us. And the same with audiobooks, etc. So it's nothing unusual. It's a natural ability that we'll be using to focus your attention so that you move outside of your conscious mind into the subconscious, where you can make changes, the changes that you want. So hopefully that sort of reassures you that I won't be doing anything to you. I'll be just inviting you as a hypnotherapist to enter into your own hypnosis, and you already know how to do that. So my words will be like a audiobook. Just follow along my words and they will guide you inside. So that's a little bit about hypnosis. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the two minds that exist within this brain. Okay, so you imagine there's two minds. One side, the right hand side, that's the emotional mind. That's where all emotions live. And the other side, the left hand side, that's where our intellect resides, our rational mind resides, and the two work together. Okay, in happy harmony. But what can happen when there's some kind of dissonance, some kind of disconnect, and that's the rational mind goes offline and the emotional mind takes over. And you know when that happens, when if you've ever got angry and your whole nervous system's been reacting, to try and rationally control that emotion, it's almost impossible. We often have to let that emotion pass through. So the emotional mind is a very powerful mind, and that's the bit we'll be working on. A useful way of thinking about the emotional mind is the body. I like to also think about it as being the subconscious mind. Everything gets stored in our body, so that's the best place to work if you want to make change. So that's the first thing. Now, the other thing I want to say about this part of the brain, there's something in the middle called the amygdala. Okay, the amygdala is our fight, flight, freeze response, and it comes from when we were cave people. Okay, and it's kept us safe all this time. It's where our anxiety, anger, depression comes from. Our fight, flight, freeze. So imagine this is the amygdala. Whenever there's a little danger, it spikes up. And when the danger passes, it calms down. Spikes up, passes down. So it's totally natural, perfectly natural. What can happen is when our nervous system gets overwhelmed, lots of things happening in our lives, maybe one big event, that car crash or that broken relationship or something, the nervous system can get overwhelmed, and as that nervous system overwhelms, it expands, and then it doesn't take a lot for things to react. Okay, so what we do in this type of hypnosis is to just let go of things, let go of all those things that we've stored within our subconscious, so that the amygdala returns to its normal function, back to normal. Now, another way of looking at our predicaments as human beings, and why sometimes we get lost in unhelpful emotions, behaviors, thoughts, and all that stuff, is if we think about ourselves like pressure cookers. Now, forgive me, I'm not known for my art. Okay, so imagine this is us, the pressure cooker and a valve on top. On the bottom, there's lots of stuff that's already there. Some stress, some pressure. Because as human beings, we need to have some stress in order to keep us alert, keep us alive, keep us motivated moving forward. So we need that kind of pressure. So not all stress is wrong. It's helpful and useful and basically required. But what can happen over our lifetimes? There's what I like to call is mission creep. Lots of things getting stored in our subconscious minds. Okay, that bereavement, that relationship difficulty, there's financial challenges. All of that gets slowly built into our nervous system, resulting in us getting more stressed, feeling overwhelmed, not able to cope, and then from that state reacting to life. Okay, that's where our anxiety, anger, depression comes from, those unhelpful thoughts, feelings, behaviors that arise only because we're overwhelmed and we're working from a depleted mindset. So what we do in hypnosis is to empty that stress bucket, that pressure cooker in some way, by opening that pressure valve and allowing all that stuff to gently dissipate, disappear, diffuse out in a way that's safe and appropriate for us. So that's really the challenge, and that's really what we do in hypnosis. We go beyond the thinking minds up here into the subconscious, where we can make changes happen in our lives. And the good news is, just like steam, if you used to open that pressure valve, the steam would easily dissipate, because it knows how to do that. It knows how to reduce pressure, reduce tension, reduce strain. So it dissipates, disappears, and diffuses. Same for us. When we're under pressure, often we're fighting and trying to hold it down. But what we can do is to open that pressure valve and allow all that stuff to gently, in a safe way, dissipate, disperse, disappear, so that we have greater bandwidth to think and make better life choices in our lives. So we're naturally predisposed to do that. Our nervous system wants us to be in a state of ease. It doesn't like to be in a state of continuous pressure, even though it doesn't feel like that sometimes it feels like I'm okay, I'm not really stressed. But that's because we've become so familiar with that feeling that it seems to be the norm. Until we know until we experience what it's like to have greater ease, we can't really make sense of that. So that's what we're going to be doing. Hope that's helpful, useful model. Forgive me for my drawing. And another way of about thinking about all that stuff that goes on, those feelings, images, thoughts, emotions, and sensations that arise, that are suppressed, is often those things in the past were installed and had created reactions and emotional charge. At the time it was helpful, at the time it was very useful. But it comes a point in life when those things are no longer helpful, no longer useful. In fact, they get in the way. A little bit like the apps on our phone, the ones that were installed a while back, forgot all about them, and now they're draining our memory, and they're also draining our processing capacity. So it makes sense to just let them go, dissipate, disappear, diffuse, because when they do, we have greater processing capacity. It gives us greater sense of freedom, greater sense of choice, and also a greater sense of security, because we've got access to the rest of the page. Our minds aren't trapped by those past events. They make us more able to deal with those past events because we've stripped away the emotional content, and now we have the capacity, the whole rational mind, to take action towards resolving them if we want to, or we can just move on and focus on what we want in our lives. The other way of thinking about it is is this little thing here. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these, but these are great fun. They're a light stick. And the light stick is, when you hold on to it, I don't know if you can see it, it creates light. You can see if you can hear it. Might not be able to hear it. But it creates noise, and our minds, our awareness is trapped by that noise. And it just distracts us. And instead, all we have to do is just let go. When we let go, everything calms down, we get quieter, we can think more clearly. So that's it for the moment. I just wanted just to give you a little bit of an impression and understanding of why hypnosis and hypnotherapy is so powerful. Not because it's special in any way, but because it's very ordinary, and it's something that we're so predisposed and naturally able to do it. We use that, our ability to single focus, to move into our unconscious mind and work with that part of who we are, the part that really governs our lives, and change that so that it shows itself in our more conscious life. So hopefully that's been useful. If it has, please subscribe and get in touch. We can do some work together.